All right. It's November 3rd. Wow. It's November 3rd. And this is the next episode of the Tailgate. I totally forgot what date it was, and wow, it's getting close to Thanksgiving. This is crazy.
Yeah.
The season's flying by in a good and bad way. Bad for my Buffaloes, but good in a way of just watching college football. And we're here with a new episode, of course, brought to you by TruEnergy. For the first time ever on the episode of the Tailgate, I actually have this in person. This is what I've been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks. This is your new favorite energy drink, or I guess energy supplement, I should say. It's better than whatever sugary drink you're drinking right now. I guarantee that. And to show it to you, I'm going to try one on camera for the first time ever. I've never had one before, but now I'm excited to have one. So, disclaimer for everyone out there, if you guys do buy one of these, you'll get a case of them like this. It's like a small little case. If you open it up, I'm clearly struggling. You guys won't have this issue, but personally myself, I struggle with things sometimes, and this is one of them. You'll get 4 little pods like that, I guess cylinders. They're like that or whatever. I'm going to open it up in a second. Before I talk to them, I got to give another disclaimer too. So basically right now, I'm a huge Colorado football fan. Obviously, as you guys know, diehard Colorado football fan. They're on the TV right now playing Arizona. Currently it's ties. We're going back and forth. So if at any moment I have some just out of nowhere characteristic kind of freakouts, it's because I'm watching my team lose again. We started off great, and things have not been so hot as of late. So I'm pretty sure you twist this to open it up, Dominic. Have you tried one yet, Dominic? The TruEnergy drinks?
I have not.
You have not. Okay. So I got no guidance. How am I supposed to open this up? I think I twisted. Oh, I see some breakable
Couldn't tell
seal
you.
thing. Probably should have. Oh, there we go. So you do twist it off. Has a little True at the top. That's cool.
Chug.
All right. Oh, smells like orange. Yeah, that's cool. So, also, more disclaimers after disclaimers for the show already. I'm not a huge fan of coconut water. Just personally, I've tried all the ones like that. I'm not a huge fan of it. There is some coconut water in this. It
Yeah.
says somewhere. Oh, yeah. So this has some ingredients. It has green tea, stuff like that. At the very bottom, coconut water. Personally, never really was a fan of that. So if I don't like it, that's the me problem. I'm sure you guys would like it. If you like coconut water, you're probably going to love this. But me,
You probably don't even taste it.
yeah, no, yeah, honestly, it smells
Take a
like
sip.
it smells like an orange Gatorade that smells better than Gatorade. So in my brains are expected to be better than Gatorade, which is awesome. 'Cause I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's so much better for you too. There's vitamins, electrolytes, antioxidants, green tea. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, here we go. Natural flavors, non-GMO. It's vegan. It's gluten-free. It's recyclable, so it helps you and the planet. Sheesh, that's a twofer right there, dude. All right, let's go Buffs. Let's send it. Here we go. Oh, it's like a nip. That's awesome. All right. Dude, you're right. I don't taste the coconut water. It tastes orange. It's sweet.
Can you
It's
taste
good.
the green tea?
I don't taste the green tea. I mean, it definitely is sweet, so maybe that's where the tea, flavor's from.
Yeah.
It's good. I like how I can throw it back like it's like a shot, though. That's kind of cool. It's like a little nip of something. I can just, full send. It's tasty, dude. I'll admit that. It's very tasty for sure. And it's pretty small and compactable for my pocket, whatever. Not gonna recycle this, help the plant out, dude. I don't think there's any caffeine. I didn't taste any caffeine, or that's a stupid thing to say, but it doesn't taste like a caffeinated drink, is what I'm trying to say. So,
Yeah.
but it should give me energy. So if I'm buzzing into this episode, I apologize because it had some fantastic true energy. But for a guy like myself who hates coconut water, this tastes good, and that is a deal breaker for me. If the ingredients I don't like, but I end up liking this, that means you are doing something right. So true energy, you guys are onto something. I honestly believe that this is good product, and I'm not even a huge orange guy. I'm not even a huge citrus mango flavored kind of dude. I never really go for that flavor for anything, but this tastes good. So I can't even imagine what black cherry would taste like or whatever flavors they might have.
Oh my lord.
I know, right? That sounds like it's gonna slap.
Yeah.
I need to hit these guys up, and be like, yo, I need some more flavors. Cause this stuff is a slapper. I'm at this right now. I've only had it maybe a minute ago, but I can tell already this is some good stuff
Oh,
right
boy.
here, dude. This is some good stuff. Anyway,
That
True
and
energy.
in the Colorado game is not a good mix.
I'm gonna be so hyper and maybe
You're
10
gonna run
seconds.
through your TV.
Oh, actually, Steve Montez is caught up in a phone. Oh man, that's a little dramatic. But anyway, yeah, it's gonna be Arizona's gonna blow up Colorado, and I'll be mad about that. And this is gonna hit, and it's gonna be a perfect storm. But anyway, if you yourself want to try TruEnergy, guess what? We got you covered. Either TruEnergy.com can get you some of these, or if you go to the TailgateSportsEntertainment.com website, which is our home website for Tailgate Sports, there should be a banner on the side of it. And you can click on that. It'll give you more information about the product. You can buy some for yourself too. Or This video on YouTube should have a comment below, or a comment below. Wow, it should have a bio below, or you can comment below if you want to comment. Go ahead and comment if you want to. But in the bio below this video on YouTube, there should be a link where you can buy your own and look into more about the product itself. So we're just trying to help you guys out, have a better way to get your energy. This will be your it's my new favorite energy drink right now. I'll tell you that right now. Whatever I was drinking before, Gatorade, Powerade, Fiber Energy, whatever it was, trash. Red Bull, trash. All that stuff, trash. I'm having this now. I'm going to even actually, no, I'm not going to mix it with vodka. That's like a bad idea. I shouldn't do that. But I'm going to have this just
I kind of want to see that, though.
No, I'm not going to do that. That's
Come on.
Don't do that. That's a
I'll give
terrible
you
idea.
$2.
No, that's a terrible idea. And I'll give you $2. Okay,
Andy's
Dominic.
dead.
Oh. Touchdown Colorado. Anyway. This will be your new favorite energy drink. It's my new favorite one. The ingredients, I usually don't even like them, but I like them for this one. Try it. I guarantee you'll like it. Anyway, the episode, here we go. Sorry for digressing so much, but I had to show the fans what they're missing out on. Show that there's a lot of FOMO that they'll be experiencing if they don't have the TruEnergy right now. But anyway, Dominic, I'll have you start off the show because you are the mastermind behind the topics tonight.
Well, the first one's you obviously saw the college playoff bracket come out this week.
Of course.
So I kind of want to discuss that because I came out with my own top 15 of it. Some of it was the same, some of it was different.
You're top 15. Oh, sheesh.
Yeah, I did the top 15.
Let's do the
Took
top 4.
me probably over a day to look at the strength of schedule, their defense, offense. It was a lot, but you got to do it.
It's a grind and a half right there.
So the committee's top 4 was obviously 1 Alabama, 2 Clemson, 3 was LSU, and then 4 was Notre Dame. I actually had Notre Dame at 3 and LSU at 4. I'll tell you why. Notre Dame's undefeated. There's some say, obviously I'm wearing LSU stuff, but I'm not going to be biased here. Notre Dame beat Stanford, who's a pretty good team. They're 5-3. Record doesn't show how good they actually are.
Good take.
They also beat Michigan, who's only got 1 loss. They're 7-1 right now, ranked 5th. They're the first team out of the playoffs. And Notre Dame's undefeated 8-0. LSU, now see, LSU beat Georgia, who's very good. They beat Auburn, who's 5-3. I don't know if they're a good team. They have some good games, other bad games. And they're 7-1, lost to Florida. Florida's a great team, but the loss knocked them down a tiny bit. So if I'm grading on points, I'd give Notre Dame a couple more points just for that. That's why I have LSU at 4.
Sounds good. I actually agree with the committee. I think that you're a little too harsh on LSU and a little bit too hyping up Notre Dame. Obviously, you can't not say Alabama's number 1. It makes incredible sense. They have the best player
The
in
top
college.
2 are locks.
No, obviously for sure. Alabama has the best player in college football right now. Best defense, best offense, best coaching staff. They're really a perfect team. It's almost impossible to see any flaws in them. Clemson, it's kind of hard to say they're not number 2 when they have an undefeated record and an unstoppable defense. In my opinion, the Clemson defense is the best in the nation. I've witnessed it personally. I saw them play NC State, and it felt like I was watching a college team play a high school team. And the worst part was NC State was ranked 18 at the time.
Yeah, but see, NC State trash.
Well, I mean, yeah, NC State is trash, I'll admit that. But, the minute the ball left the quarterback's hand, or the minute the ball was handed off to someone in Clemson defense was there. There was one deep pass to NC State wide receiver, and there was 4 Clemson safeties and quarterback, or I wouldn't say safeties and quarterbacks, but 4 guys of the secondary for Clemson who were just swarmed around him, just waiting for him to touch the ball so they could just, take him out of the game pretty much. Not that they were going to, but that's how I was afraid for his life at that moment where I was
yeah.
It was literally 4 guys just stampeding towards one dude who probably shouldn't even be near the ball in the first place just for his own personal safety. But it was just, it was to me, it was astounding to see a college football defense that efficient, that consistent, and that just locked down. There was absolutely no room for error at all. And to me, it proved that Clemson really is the second best team in the nation for sure. I have LSU at 3. The reason for that is obviously the Florida loss is not ideal. Notre Dame's undefeated. They do have good wins against Michigan and against Stanford. I agree with your take too. Stanford is better than the record shows. They still had a good team. Beating Oregon was a huge win for them. You can't take that away from them at all. I mean, yeah, it sucks they lost to Washington State, but now Washington State's good. So it's Stanford is a very good team for sure. And USC isn't that terrible. So they're not demanding, but I should say almost suffocating win against USC is definitely impressive as well. So Stanford is a good team too, and you can't take away from Notre Dame either. But at the same time, Notre Dame has had some like really just kind of like weak wins for them. Winning against Ball State is not going to help them at all. Vanderbilt, second worst team in the SEC, not impressive. They beat them. Wake Forest has a good offense. That's about it. So it's like, and then Navy last week, like Navy's live in that like Navy's good, but they're not.
Navy's got a good offense. Their defense is terrible.
Yeah, they're not as good as they were in past years. So to have a rough first half against Navy is not great, and then Pitt is not that good at all. Pitt also is like
Pitt's in the lead for the Coastal ACC.
Are they like? I thought they were like losing to Virginia tonight though.
No, they beat Virginia.
Okay.
So now they're the sole possession of ACC
Coastal. Which I mean like means nothing because Clemson's in that conference. So
yeah,
when it gets to that conference game,
but you don't know. It's game over. Definitely going to the conference game.
Like, all right, I'm not gonna get to this right now, but basically,
no, Boston College.
I hate you, Boston College. Dude. You in Boston College is like the epitome of just like stop talking.
I hope you know. Clemson plays Boston College next weekend. I have never picked against Boston College, and I don't plan on picking against them.
All right. Anyway, Dominic, Pitt is a decent team, but they're not fantastic. So to barely win against Pitt, like, and that's the thing is like we can say how good Pitt is or how not good Pitt is, but for Notre Dame to barely win against them, you're a potential college football playoff team, and you can barely beat Pitt, who's not even the best team in their. Like, they might be the best team in their division, but not even the best team in their conference, and you can barely get by them. That's a red flag to me. LSU obviously lost to Florida, but Florida was a top 10 team. They're 11 now. They're basically, in my opinion, they're still a top 10 team.
Yeah.
Like if they play against UCF would get blown out of the water. So in my opinion, they are a top 10 team. So I'm like, I don't want to hear about your stupid hot takes of UCF. They're not as good as everyone thinks they are.
No, they were the national champion last year.
Yeah, you can claim whatever you want. You still suck. Anyway.
Love getting you mad.
Florida is a top 10 team in my eyes. They are a very good team. To lose to Florida, it sucks, but it's not bad for you. You beat Georgia. Yeah. Now you're playing Bama. LSU has the hardest schedule in the nation. We've talked about this multiple times. They still have a chance to make it to the playoff. LSU has defeated better teams, played a harder schedule, and has played better football. They, in my eyes, are better than Notre Dame, and if they played head-to-head, they would beat Notre Dame. So Notre Dame is hanging on by a thread. They are a solid football team, but if they lose this week to Northwestern, which I think they will, against one of their rivals, you could see Michigan and Georgia slide up there. I think it's going to happen.
I would put money on it.
The last time I felt this confident about an upset was Memphis versus USC, and it was 1 point away where they could have tied the game. I mean, like, they were losing to Memphis. Memphis did end up losing by 1 point. But for a decent amount part of that game, it looked as if Memphis was going to pull it off. And I feel very certain about this week that Northwestern's going to go into that game the same way that Purdue went to the game against Ohio State.
Is it at Notre Dame or?
It is at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But I do believe that Northwestern's going to win that game. I think it's going to be.
Maybe if it was at Northwestern, but no.
I still think it's going to happen. It's the same way that like Purdue went to the Ohio State game, just wanted to win that ball game. It wasn't about their season; it was about that moment of we're going to beat them today, and that's the Northwestern mentality. We're going to beat Notre Dame this week, so I think it's going to happen for sure. If it does happen, their season's over, because what they're going to beat like USC, who's unranked, Florida State, who's terrible, or Syracuse, who's 22 to get back to the playoff. No, they're not. So it's going to be either Michigan or Georgia, but I think the committee had it dead on for the rankings for sure. And I think that...
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 could have gone either way. It was very close. Doesn't hurt them. It's still very early.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I think that they did a good job so far, which is good, because in past years, they've really messed up. So it's nice to see that they have, in my eyes, a perfect top 4.
And then I'm going to give you my 5 through 10 as well. I'm not going to break it down. I'm just going to tell you, see if you feel the same. 5, I have Michigan, just from what they've done. Mm-hmm. They've had some good wins. They did lose to Notre Dame, who's undefeated.
Yeah. Just for time's sake, though, we got to, like, we can't take too much time.
I know.
I don't want people, like, skimming through this being like, oh, it's taking forever. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep in mind, you know, let's give our audience not, like, this insanely 2-hour-long talk about how good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna break down.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to keep the best interest of our fans in mind. You know what I'm saying?
And then I have Georgia.
Still interested. Okay, yep, I have Georgia.
I have Georgia at 6. They did have that one loss against LSU, who's now 3, but that's it. They beat Florida. I got Oklahoma. They had that loss versus Texas, but they've looked very good against any other team. 8, I have Kentucky, just because their schedule they've played so far is pretty tough. They lost Texas A&M, but they beat Florida, who, again, very good team. Number 9, I have Ohio State. That Purdue loss was pretty bad, but they've looked very good against anyone else. Last year, after the Iowa blowout, they were unstoppable. Might happen again. It happens every year. And then 10, Washington State. I don't see them being a powerhouse into the college playoffs. I'm sorry.
Who's it for 10?
Washington State.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, like the only thing that I disagree with, I definitely would have Michigan 5, Georgia 6, um, Oklahoma 7. I think it's a little different for what you have. I'm just kind of going over and making sure. I would have, Michigan 5, Georgia 6, Oklahoma 7. I would have Kentucky at 8, Ohio State
Yeah,
at
that's what I had.
Ohio State at 9, Washington State at 10. Yeah, Washington State at 10. I kind of put Washington State higher because like they have been really just cruising over the Pac-12 in a year where the Pac-12 is killing itself. It's the same how it was in college basketball last year. Every Pac-12 team is about as good as each other. Like it's very evenly ranked.
Yeah.
So any week you'll have crazy upsets like last week, Arizona beating Oregon, obviously Oregon State beating Colorado. Then you had Stanford beating Oregon earlier. So it's like you have these like different insane matchups where a team who should win ends up losing to a team who win as an underdog, stuff like that. So Washington State has been able to almost seemingly like get by all this like chaos to stay as like the number one contender to still be cultural playoff bound. They have one bad loss to USC. USC is not great. They're decent. They have good losses. They have bad losses. They have good losses, bad losses, good wins, bad wins. They beat Colorado, lost to Texas, but Texas is good. They lost to who did they lose to last week? Utah. I'm pretty sure it was against Utah last week. I'm almost paused. I'm not going to go into it. I'm pretty sure it's against Utah, but they have like one just okay loss last week.
Yeah.
Washington State did lose to them, but it was like by 3 points. It's a very last minute kind of like loss. They have a great coach, Mike Leach. A lot of talent on that team. Their quarterback is fantastic. So I think that they would be in contention with Ohio State because even though they did lose to USC, it was a close game versus Ohio State's loss to Purdue. It was a terrible blowout. I don't care that their record at Purdue was terrible. The fact that they got blown out by a team that wasn't even close to being ranked is not a good look at all. So even though Dwayne Haskins is playing well for Ohio State, even though the team is very deep in talent, a really bad loss like that is still a really bad loss. So I would argue that Washington State could be 9, but Kentucky defense, that was hard to say, is lights out. Josh Allen is fantastic. They should definitely be the 8th best team. Obviously, like you said, Oklahoma, and that's a big rivalry game against Texas. That's like, in my opinion, that's as
Yeah, it
equal
can go
as,
either way every year. It's kind of like the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, I was about to say it's like Alabama versus Auburn Iron Bowl. It's like every year, doesn't matter how good the teams are. It's still a huge rivalry game that means more than just what their record is at the time. So to lose to Texas like that, it sucks. But Texas is a good team, and it can go either way, like every year, no matter what happens. So Oklahoma still is a fantastic team. They should be 7. Georgia, insanely good win against Florida. Obviously, a very good team. They only lost to LSU, who is arguably one of the best teams in the SEC. Could be the best team if they beat Alabama. So, like, not even that bad of a loss for Georgia. So, and you can't really get past it. You can't really get past Michigan or Notre Dame. So, I think that I would put Kentucky at 8, Washington State 9, Ohio State 10. But I definitely agree with you. It's about the same lineup for sure. I definitely do want to see Washington State just absolutely kill it because as a Pac-12 fan, that's our only hope to have any representation at all in the playoff. We have I'm pretty sure it's like a 0.1 or 0.4% chance to have any Pac-12 team in the playoff. So I just hope Washington State wins out because it's like if they lose one game, the entire Pac-12 season's over. I don't really care about the Cheez-It Bowl or whatever bowl game we'd go to. This is our only chance to have one decent team go and do something for us, and yeah, it's about it. Plus, it's even on the offseason, I was saying I want Mike Leach as a quarterback. I want Mike Leach as a coach in Boulder. I think that he's.
Happen.
I know it never would happen, but now it's at least I'm proving how it's if we had him, that would be us. But we're stuck with McIntyre, unfortunately. I do want to talk about some other teams that are definitely really impressive. Utah. I thought Utah was kind of trash at first. They were doing just in all.
You would diss them every week. I talk to you
because I would watch their games and all they would do is run offense, which is
and it works.
I mean, it works. Apparently, it's working too well. It shouldn't work as well as it is, but it is working pretty well for them. Their defense is good. They are taking down some great teams in the Pac-12. So Utah's a solid team, and it's cool to see them at the. I think they get the 16th. I'm pretty sure another 15 for the playoff rankings, and yep, they are 16 for the top 25. So it's kind of crazy to see them that high as well. Same with Utah State too. I think in our first episode Mountain West is the number one conference outside of the Power 5. It could be a Power 5 based on how deep they are this year. Like, I think that they have a little, like, I would say probably equal talent to the Pac-12.
Yeah, Fresno State.
Fresno State's a very good team this year for
Yeah,
sure.
they're ranked as well.
Boise State was ranked for a while. Obviously, Utah State's doing fantastic. So it's really cool to see a program that is usually slept on, that usually, like, no one even really
San Diego
acknowledges.
State.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, even Utah State, like, I didn't really know much about them until this year because they're always, if they are good, they're never talked about. So it's like, and then, like, Wyoming was, like, at least, well, this year they kind of sucked, but last year they were good last year. Obviously, with Josh Allen, stuff like that. So it's really cool to see the Mountain West get attention now because I feel like for a while people were just not acknowledging them because like, they're not in major markets. They're in like states like Idaho and Wyoming, which are like states that like no one even talks about ever except for the Idaho Idaho Fans Potato Bowl. And obviously with Josh Allen last year, talk about Wyoming, but that's about it though. So it's nice to see the Mountain West finally get the respect it deserves and to see that conference really be like at the same level as in Power 5 conferences. I think there's a lot of teams in the Mountain West that could be Pac-12 and ACC teams. I think that I really hope that a lot of those teams go to big name or at least big matchup bowls so they can prove how well that conference actually is. Like if they're playing against trash teams from like the AAC, I'd be kind of disappointed because they deserve better games. I want to see a Utah State versus Oregon bowl game. I want to see a Fresno State versus, like Syracuse bowl game. That to me would be interesting to prove how deep and how talented Mountain West really is and how it shouldn't be slept on as much as it actually is. So to me, that's a really cool thing that I've taken away from this season. And finally, Iowa's getting the respect it deserves too. Iowa's been a fantastic program all season.
Love Iowa.
Wait, what?
Love them.
Okay,
I love Iowa.
I thought you were saying something disrespectful about Iowa, and I was about to be like, hold on, Chief.
No, like they could. They're always going either 6-6, like even like when they're bad, but they'll always give you an upset. They never disappoint.
They play well. They are a very entertaining team, and they are close to being back. I think next year Iowa will be back. They're not going to be as back as they were a few years ago, where they're almost a playoff team, but they will be back. I'm thinking, like you said too, like everyone hates Iowa because I mentioned like I brought this up, I should say, a few weeks ago because I was like saying like why does everyone hate Iowa? Minnesota hates Iowa, Iowa State hates Iowa, Nebraska hates Iowa. Like I'm pretty sure Purdue hates Iowa too. Like a lot of like schools for no reason have this just like burning hatred for the Hawkeyes, and I never understood it. And you had them like pretty much on spot. You're like, oh, they're good every year. They're always a contender, so people hate them because of that. It's like it's that whole like they hate them because they ain't them kind of mentality.
Yeah.
So it's great to see Iowa, I guess, in a positive trajectory to being back to being a top 10 team. I think the next year they will be up there for sure because they have great coaching. I'm pretty sure they are decent for recruiting and they have a good team right now. So as long as they bring back all those same guys, we could see an Iowa team that's close to being what they were a few years ago, and I'm very excited for that because that's just going to be fantastic football for sure. Anything else you want to talk about as far as top 25 teams go? And if you talk about Boston College,
we covered it all.
Okay, good. Thank God. Thank God. I was so afraid.
So then the next topic's going to be a quick one.
Okay.
Because it's the Heisman.
Yeah, no, that like I just want to make
two tiers.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this, that was the biggest rant we're gonna have all show. It's all downhill from here. So if you're getting kind of bored, we're sorry about that, but it's gonna be quick hot takes from here on out.
There's two tiers.
Okay.
The first tier has one person in it. Tua. He's in first.
Yeah.
The second tier has three people in it. I have Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, and Will Grier in it.
Yeah.
Then obviously throw in tier 3, it's Travis Etienne, A.J. Dillon, who came back, had another good performance. It's all the other guys.
Sure. If we're talking Heisman, it's two or nothing. Like it's really is two against the world now. And I hate to be every like college football analyst, stuff like that, but he really is just like lights out. Like I haven't seen one flaw from him besides getting hurt. That's the only flaw.
He hasn't played anyone.
I think that Texas A&M is a fantastic program, so I would say he has played someone, Dominic, and we will see him play. Well, it's hard for him to see you play when you turn on the game. He's already out of the game because he already put up so many touchdowns. There's no point in playing him anymore. So it's like that's how good he is. It's
no,
like,
the part I hate about it is the analysts are like, "Did you see that throw?" And like it was a wide open throw to a receiver that was wide open.
Okay,
like
again, but like we talked about before, Alabama has one of the best wide receiver cores in the country. Not as good as all.
Yeah,
this,
I know,
but it's
nothing
like
against them. I'm just saying the analysts try to hype up the throw too much. Don't do it.
Yeah, I will admit he's not like some Patrick Mahomes kind of like gunslinging arm, but like his accuracy's there. His leadership is there. His ability to put the game like out of reach in half a game is
He
ridiculous to
hasn't
me. I've
played
never
in the
seen.
fourth quarter
I
yet.
know he still has 0 yards in the fourth quarter, not because he sucks the fourth quarter, because he hasn't even gone onto the field for the fourth quarter. It's ridiculous to me how he can win a ball game in half the time it takes every other quarterback in the entire country. Like we haven't really, haven't seen him in a close game yet, or at least a moment where he has to actually, focus on winning the game. I mean, I'm saying this in a terrible way. We haven't seen him in a situation where he's had to like really
Yeah,
strategize for the win. As what I was, that took a lot out of me to try to like say that, but basically I was trying to say is like he's had these really easy, almost comfortable wins, and not to discredit his play. It's just that he's so lights out that we haven't seen him fully challenged yet and fully just like focused into the game about how can I pull off this comeback win? How can I hold off this defense? How can I, win this quarter, win this ball game? And I'm
yeah.
excited to see it. We'll see in the playoff for sure. I highly doubt he's just going to like steamroll every team he plays, especially this week against LSU. Playing in Death
Yeah,
Valley.
we'll cover that later.
Yeah, no, we'll get to that obviously eventually, but it's like, to me, it's just
I
mind
think the
blowing.
only person that will ever that can catch him is either Haskins if he keeps slinging it because he had against Purdue he had 73 passes. I don't know what
Yeah,
the play calling was in that game. They should have run it early on, but they didn't. So
yeah.
then they had to catch up with the passing.
I'm not going
But
I'm
the
not,
only player that can catch him is Kyler Murray, I
I
think.
disagree with that. Oh, Kyler Murray. Actually, I thought you were going to say Dwayne Haskins. I was so ready for
No,
you
no,
to say
no,
Dwayne
no, no,
Haskins.
no, no.
I agree with that actually. Kyle, this episode like sucks. We agree on way too much stuff. Anyway, I
No,
agree with
we're not
that.
going to agree on the picks,
Okay,
but
anyway, okay, true. But Kyler Murray, I agree. And we'll like this week they're playing Texas Tech, a very offensive minded team. So we're gonna see him go off and just have like crazy, deep bomb throws, crazy offensive drives. So Kyler Murray is gonna show how good he is this week. But again, it's like not disrespect to Will Greer or Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, or pretty much anyone who might be like close to compete with him. It's just like Tua is just so good that it's just unfair, in my opinion. Like Jalen
yeah.
Hurts shouldn't feel bad losing his job to him because like anyone else in the entire
Jalen
country,
Hurts could start at like
yeah.
almost any other university.
Oh no, definitely. Jalen Hurts could pretty much walk into like Michigan or Notre Dame tomorrow and be a starting quarterback, even though they're only like a few spots below them.
Yeah, but
He
see,
could
like
be the
he
starting
wants to go
quarterback
to a
at LSU.
real university that's gonna actually make the playoffs. So I heard he might go to BC.
Dominic in BC. He's gonna go to Colorado actually. Win Pac-12 South for us for like every year. No,
All
but
right, you
like
were telling me Kelly Bryant was gonna go there.
there was like one
I'm
rumor.
pretty sure after these performances that Colorado's put up,
Yeah,
he's
no,
like, "Nah,
we're
I'm
we're
good."
probably gonna lose all our recruits, but anyway, I'm not talking about that anymore.
Yeah,
What I'm talking about is that Jalen Hurts shouldn't feel bad with losing his job because he lost it to the best quarterback we've seen in a very long time. I mean, I thought Patrick Mahomes was great in college, but he, at a college level, was not playing at the level Tua is in college. Tua might not be as good in the NFL, but like, it's hard to tell because sometimes great players in college football, like Tim Tebow, don't do as well in the NFL. But if we're talking just college football, Tua is one of the best college football quarterbacks we have ever seen. Definitely have seen in the last few years for sure. So it's just he shouldn't feel bad because anyone in the nation would have lost their starting job to Tua, regardless of what
facts.
school he played for. So it's fantastic. He's gonna be the Heisman for sure. He deserves it. And yeah, but let's
Well,
move on
we
from that.
can't say he's gonna be the Heisman for sure, but
I mean, how could he possibly? Actually, I'm going to say this because this could be hilarious if he does fall off. How could he possibly
yeah.
fall off? How could
Someone
he fall off,
record this.
Dominic? I know. Someone record this. Dominic, we are recording. That's the whole point of the show. Someone record this. Anyway,
No, but someone record that point.
I know, yeah. I'm glad I said though, because I watched him like fall apart against like Citadel in 2 weeks, like a terrible trash academy of Citadel, and then it's like, he did fall apart. It'd be hilarious. But anyway, we're gonna talk about lastly, ladies and gentlemen, upcoming games for this week. This week is ridiculous for matchups, which is great because our last show we had a bunch of boring matchups that weren't fun to talk about, and now we
It's
have
gonna. It's basically these
yeah,
games are gonna basically put together the teams for the SEC championship
absolutely,
this week.
absolutely for sure. So I'll have you go first, and let's keep this brief because I don't want this to go a little too long. Again, we gotta keep in mind people's attention spans. People got things to do, Dominic. People got things to do with their
I
lives.
know.
We can't have
Well,
them
you were going off
divide.
about Tua.
Well, okay, all right, true. I'll admit that I did go up on Tua because I had to validate my point. But again, people got busy lives. We can't keep their attention too
All right, I'll go quick
focused
here.
on us. Go ahead.
So for games, obviously we're gonna go number one at Alabama at number three LSU. Who you got?
I mean, I have LSU because I mean, like actually, no, like this is how I'm like debating it. LSU knows they have to win. They have to win this game to stay in that kind of conversation for the college football playoff. If they lose to Florida and Bama, that's really going to be a bad look for them, especially with Michigan and Georgia and Oklahoma just clawing, and Washington State too, just clawing to get into the playoff. so they know they have to win. It's at home too. I kind of do want to favor Bama because Bama's just so flawless, but this is their first major challenge. I wouldn't be surprised if LSU wins. I think Bama's going to win by just one score. LSU will be like fifth in the nation after this because I think that we were talking about this earlier. I think that if LSU loses, they're still in the conversation for the playoff. They'll still be a top 6 team for sure because losing to the number 1 team who is flawless at this point is not a bad thing at all for your schedule. Obviously, you'd have to put Michigan and Georgia up in there because they would, if they do win, it does look more impressive than LSU losing. It'd be kind of unfair to keep LSU in there. But they're definitely, the season's not over yet, but it definitely is improbable for them to get back in after losing 2 games to 2 top 10 teams. Especially if you lose to a team that's in the playoff, it's going to be kind of hard to fight your way back in there if you already have lost to a team that's in there. If Bama does lose, though, that'd be really interesting to me because I think that would be Clemson at 1, LSU at 2, Bama at 3, Notre Dame, Michigan, Georgia at 4, whichever one has the best week. But it would, to me, it would shake up the entire playoff. It would shake up the SEC for sure. It'd be a absolute, I would say, it's hard to put into words how just monumental it would be, but it'd be like a devastating loss to Alabama for sure. It would show
all I'm going to say is about this matchup.
Go for it.
Devin White being obviously the targeting call that was terrible. He's out for the first half. I still think the defense picks it up. Their DBU, their secondary's nasty.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for weeks. I have LSU winning. Devin White being suspended for the first half because of targeting doesn't change how I'm going to pick it.
Yeah.
LSU by 1 score.
And I agree. This is the most anticipated game of the college football season. This is the one game everyone's looking forward to all year. We've been talking about this for a while. It's going to come down to a bunch of things. It's going to come down to the fans in Death Valley. If Alabama fans travel and they get really rowdy for this, it's going to be a huge factor against LSU. But if LSU fans
but they don't even go to their own home game. So
if LSU fans show up, and I think they will, it's going to be a just chaotic kind of scene for both teams. It's going to be one of those stadiums like College Station where it's like you can't even think 'cause it's so loud. So many rowdy fans there. So it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere for sure. You're going to have Coach O just getting everyone at LSU just absolutely just fired up, ready for this game. But you're also going to have Bama players who know they are the best. And they know they can beat anybody. And they know that if they win this game, they're going to have a lot of confidence going forward, knowing that they're going to be almost guaranteed national champs if they win this game. So I think it's going to be 2 teams just fired up, ready to go. Whichever team can play the most flawless football is going to win this. It's like whatever team is forced to make the most mistakes is going to end up losing. I know it's like a very simplistic thing to say, but like if Bama finally shows weaknesses,
all right, wrap it up.
Whether it be in defense, whether it be in the offense, whatever it might be, obviously they'll lose. If LSU doesn't play as lights out as they did against Georgia, then they'll lose. So it really is going to come down to who can play the most perfect football. But anyway, I'm done with that. What's your next one you want to talk about?
I'm not gonna go off a lot. I'm just gonna number 6 Georgia at number 9 Kentucky.
Nice.
Every stat, Kentucky has a good defense, but every stat is in favor of Georgia.
Who do you think I'm picking? Who do you think I'm picking, bud?
You're gonna pick Georgia.
Let's go.
When Kentucky lost to Texas A&M, a real contender, not contender for the playoffs, but a real team. Kentucky's offense didn't get the ball past their own 50-yard, the 50-yard line into Texas A&M's territory. But Kentucky plays with heart. They play as a team.
They do. I love the Kentucky football is good this year.
Everything's pointing to Georgia. Screw it. I'm taking Kentucky.
Anyway, I love that Kentucky football is good again because people didn't even know Kentucky football fans existed this year or didn't know they were as diehard as they were. Obviously it's a basketball school. We all know this. But I'm glad that they're really putting out there that not only are they a good football team, but they have a football family of both diehard fans and a great team led by Josh Allen and the great coach staff as well that's there at Kentucky too. But again, defense does win championships, but if you're playing Georgia offense, it's kind of hard to stop them and then answer back with no offense pretty much. So it's Georgia is the more well-rounded team, and Georgia has a realistic chance to make the playoff. Kentucky doesn't. So Georgia knows, and again, Georgia's schedule is incredibly easy after this. After this week, they play Auburn, who is half and half good, half good, half bad. They play UMass, which both of us from Massachusetts, we know how terrible UMass is.
They're terrible.
No, yeah.
Every time I've picked against them, they win, they've only won 3 games. Every time I pick for them, they lose.
UMass.
They're playing some new team. Okay, let's just lose.
UMass might have the best food in the country. They do not have anywhere near the best football team in the country. They
do have food in the country.
Terrible. No, I said they do.
Yeah, I know. I'm backing you up on that part.
Okay, cool. Anyway, they're confirmed bad, is what I'm trying to say. They're going to lose to that. And then it's Georgia versus Georgia Tech. I get the in-state rivalry, but Georgia Tech is pretty bad this year. I know they got like new locker room, new jerseys and stuff like that,
And
new
they
shade
got like
of gold for their jersey.
true freshman quarterback running a triple threat option.
Yeah, so it's like they're a work in progress, and they're going to lose. So basically, like Georgia knows this is our last hump. If they can win today, they will win out for sure. It'll be a fantastic season for them. They could definitely get back into the college football playoff. They if I'm the Georgia coach, like if I'm Kirby Smart talking to Jake Fromm and the rest of the team, it's win today. If you win today, you win out the season. You might go for another chance to win national championship. So it's like this is a make or break game for them. I can't imagine Kentucky stopping that kind of, I guess just.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like at a loss for words.
I know what you mean. Georgia's favored in every aspect.
Yeah.
I just think Kentucky being at home, being fired up by that crowd, I think the defense can somehow stop Georgia the way that LSU's defense stopped Georgia.
If it was early in the season, I'd say it was week 4, definitely.
And I like Kentucky's dual threat quarterback, Terry Wilson. He used to be an Oregon quarterback, transferred to JUCO and got the starting job at Kentucky.
Yeah.
I liked him a lot when he was at Oregon. Obviously, we had Herbert, but I liked him a lot because he was a nice dual threat.
Like if it was week 4, that would make sense to me. I think Kentucky football could definitely surprise them, but we've had a chance now, at least. Well, Georgia's had a chance now to see Kentucky football play and see how well they work in defense, or how terrible they are, or not to say terrible, but how underperforming they are on offense. And again, like it's week 9, they know what's at stake if they lose. They know what's going to happen if they do win. It's too big of a game for them to mess up and lose. If they do lose, then they deserve to lose. They deserve for the season to be over. But I think that Georgia knows the circumstances of both winning and losing this game, and they're going to come out with a win against Kentucky. Again, great job Kentucky this season. I applaud them for reviving the program and to make it as powerful as it is this year. But they've met basically what is just like an unstoppable force, which is Georgia football, knowing that this is their last final hard win before they can pretty much cruise out and make it back to the playoff, as long as a team like Notre Dame or LSU or Michigan loses, which I think they will. I think Georgia will find a way back into the playoff this year.
All right, so the way we're doing it is, so off of these picks, you have Bama versus Georgia in the SEC championship, and I have LSU, Kentucky. All right.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah.
So I got the upset.
Which I would love Bama versus Georgia to be a rematch of last year for national championship. That would get
I would love LSU at versus Kentucky, though.
But I mean, I wouldn't be mad with either one of them because LSU, I love the whole mentality and the whole family that Coach O has built around that team. It's a fantastic program now. I'm so happy for them to be at where they are. Again, Kentucky football, that's also fantastic too, to go from being, we're a basketball school to we're actually a school with 2 good programs, both basketball and football. So, I think it's, no matter who gets there, all 4 of those teams, I hate Bama, but all 3 of those teams minus Bama, I'm happy they're there.
Yeah.
But I think that Georgia is going to...
Let's start going rapid fire.
Oh, yeah, the rest
give
I really
me your pick. Yeah. We don't have to... we just had to discuss those 2 games because they're crazy.
Yeah, the rest are ones I care about, but not as much as those 2.
Just give me your pick. Yeah, number 13, West Virginia, at number 17, Texas.
Battle for the Big 12. I'm going Texas. They're a better football team. Will Greer is fantastic. I'm going Texas, though.
I'm going West Virginia. Their defense has not locked it down, but they've been playing better each week. David Sills, wide receiver, has been unstoppable with Will Greer. I'm going West Virginia.
Okay.
Then I got number 14, Penn State, at number 5, Michigan.
Michigan, for sure. Michigan, they know what's at stake. If they lose, they're gonna pull off this win. And Michigan and Penn State, I should say, is not great. They're not bad. They're not great. So
Penn State's good. Michigan's been playing great. Michigan's at home.
Yeah,
that's an advantage to me. I think
they will
Penn
lose
State's
to Ohio State.
Quarterback can't really throw it as well.
Yeah, their quarterback at Penn State is good and bad. I think an injury too from last week. So that, hold up, the Arizona player just punched a Colorado player. Where's the flag? But anyway, I'm sorry. Michigan, I do believe, will lose to Ohio State because Jim Harbaugh cannot win against Ohio State. So they will not be the playoff team because of that last minute loss to Ohio State. However, they will win this week for sure against Penn State.
All right. Here's a trap game. Number 15, Utah at Arizona State. Obviously, whenever you play at Arizona State.
Yeah. Arizona State.
I'm still going to go 15 Utah. Number 15 Utah.
I'm going to go Utah, but it's going to be close. Arizona State is I'd say like a
Your
dark
record
horse.
doesn't show how good they
No,
are.
they are the dark horse of the Pac-12, where it's like, yeah, they have some not so great losses against like Colorado stuff like that, but they do have one of the best wide receivers in the country and a very solid defense too. And Herm Edwards is a fantastic coach, especially with what he's working with right now. He's a very good coach. It's a very solid team. If you play at Arizona State, you're going to this disgustingly hot stadium that could just easily destroy you and your
It's
team's
midday
ability to
too.
win. It
The
doesn't
game's
even
midday.
matter, dude. It could be 103 in Arizona in a second. It is hot down there. Okay, I stepped out of the airport there and I was like, Jesus, this is terrible. And Tempe was equally as hot as Phoenix because they're basically in the same area. It's like Cambridge, Boston, Tempe, and Phoenix are
Yeah.
pretty much like each other. It's hot down there. Okay, it is very hot. So because of that, and I'm pretty sure the game's at Utah though. I don't think it's in Arizona.
No, it's at Arizona State.
Oh, then sheesh. They're going to go from like 40 degrees in Utah down to like 90, 100 something in Arizona. It's going to be a brutal game for sure. It's going to be a close game too. But I think Utah will definitely, because they
Yeah,
know
same.
it's a stake. But again, like if ASU wins it, now all of a sudden they're the conversation to win the Pac-12 South, which is now this whole disaster of it was Colorado for a while, and now it could be anybody. It could be UCLA next week, and I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's going to be a great game. It's going to really like decide who's going to win that division. I think Utah is going to pull it off because they know that one more win would pretty much secure that division for them.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a brutal win, and they're going to be dying to like heat stroke probably.
And then here's another game that I like. Louisiana Tech, they're very good. They got a couple losses. One to LSU, they played very good. LSU won 38-21.
Yep.
At number 18, Mississippi State. Mississippi State's defense, pretty good.
Good offense.
Their offense can't score, though. Their
I
offense
think they have a good
terrible.
offense. I mean, they can't score against a good team. Is basically like we said before. The reason why they're not ranked higher is because when they play top 15 teams, they can't get more than one score. They either score 3, 6, or 7 points against top 15 teams. So like, I mean, they're playing an unranked team that's like kind of good, kind of bad.
Yeah, they're 6-2. They're not in like.
So like the offense
Power
could get.
five.
I mean, like when they do play against teams like that, and I'll pull up their.
So who you taking? Who you
I
taking?
mean, like you can't say they don't have. I mean, they played Louisiana Lafayette. They put up 56 against them. They played against SFA Stephen F. Austin. Put up 6-3 against them. So it's like
Yeah,
even
but those are bad
A&M,
teams. Louisiana Tech's
all right,
always
oh,
great.
okay then against bad teams. How about Texas A&M, who is a confirmed good team? They put up 28 against them. So yeah, like is LA Tech a top 20 or top 15 team? I should say no, they're not. So they're going to put up a good offensive game and they're going to get that win. I think it's I definitely
No.
applaud you for picking a very obscure upset, but it's just not going to happen.
I like Jamar Smith, the quarterback for Louisiana Tech, throwing it to Adrian Hardy all day. Mississippi State's secondary is good, but Adrian Hardy, he's very good. Jamar Smith only has 12 passing touchdowns so far this season, but he doesn't make a lot of turnovers. He's smart with the ball. I think we see another big upset. Louisiana Tech up knocking off 18 Mississippi State with Mississippi State at home.
True. There are some games you didn't mention, in my opinion. First one I'm going to talk about. We talked about briefly, so I'm going to mention it right now just to get it out of the way. Northwestern versus Notre Dame. It's at Notre Dame. It's at Notre Dame, but it's a rivalry game. And like I said before, it's one of those games where players go into it as in like, I don't care what happens this season. We have to win today. We have to beat our rival. And I think Northwestern's going to get it. The last time I felt this confident about an upset, Memphis almost beat UCF. It should have been Memphis beating UCF, but they didn't close out well. They didn't close out well. They started off good the first half. They didn't finish the game like my Colorado Buffaloes usually do. So because of that, I'm going to go Northwestern. They're going to actually close out the game. They're going to actually beat Notre Dame.
Northwestern's offense, decent. I think Notre Dame defense better.
I thought Purdue was terrible.
And then
they ended up beating
Northwestern's
Ohio State
defense
by a
isn't
lot.
good.
So like anything could happen this season for sure. Oh, nice, some Colorado fans travel to Arizona. Besides that, next game, a game that I think everyone should watch is Oklahoma versus Texas Tech. This is going to be a shootout. This is going to be a crazy game. It's at Texas Tech. Obviously it's not going to be as good as when it was Mahomes versus Baker.
Yeah,
2 years
versus
ago.
Baker. Yeah.
That was a fantastic matchup, and that's going to be great this Sunday when it's the NFL. But this is going to be a very good game. You have Oklahoma, who's fighting to get back into the conversation for the College Football Playoff. Texas Tech, who was ranked earlier, who does have a very good offense, who has shown they can take out good teams who are on the rise. I think that Texas Tech is going to put up a serious fight against Oklahoma. It's going to be a huge offensive game.
Oklahoma wins by at least 2 scores, whether that's 10 points or 14 points. I still think they win by 2 scores.
I think it's going to be at the most 2 scores. I could see it being a 1-score game for sure. I could see Texas Tech winning this game too. I'm going to go with Oklahoma because they need to win more than Texas Tech does. I mean, Texas can go to a bowl game for sure. Like they're definitely gonna have a good season, but
Yeah.
Oklahoma is on the verge of being like the only Big 12 team that could get into the playoff right now. If they lose, if Texas loses this week, that the Big 12's done, without a doubt. The Big 12's
Yeah.
done. Like the Pac-12, the Big 12 have one last hope remaining, one fighting chance. Oklahoma, Washington State. If those two teams win, we're gonna have those two conferences
But
completely
see,
knocked out
like
completely.
Big 12,
So.
I think has a better chance than
Well, yeah,
Pac-12.
obviously they do, without a doubt. I'm not saying that, but this is
Yeah.
the Big 12's last realistic chance. And if Oklahoma loses Texas Tech, which I think that they could, I don't think it's actually gonna happen, but I think it could definitely happen. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I'm still gonna pick Oklahoma, but it's definitely gonna be an interesting game. I could see, I could definitely see Texas Tech wanting to kill their playoff chances and just destroying them at home. Last up is, yep, and this is the last one: Cal versus Washington State. Washington State, like I said, is the only team left in the Pac-12 that could go to the playoff. However, Cal just beat their older brother, little brother, or big brother, little brother, whatever you want to call them, whatever one you're a fan of. Obviously, I know there's a huge rivalry in the state of Washington. But the University of Washington was a top 15 team until Cal came in and beat them 12-10 last week. Cal's not a good program. They have some decent
Cal
part.
was good the first 3 weeks, and then
Then they fell apart. Like most,
yeah,
but again, like
they fell
The
off the earth.
Pac-12 is just so like evenly ranked that they're just like they're taking out each other's chances.
I think Washington State. Wait, where is it? Is it in Cal?
That is a good question. I'm almost positive it's in Cal.
Yeah, I think it's in Cal, but I still think it doesn't matter. I think Washington State pulls out with a dub.
Actually, oh my bad. False alarm. It's in Washington State. It's in. I'm pretty sure
Oh,
they play in
Washington
Pelham.
State wins.
Yeah. I mean, I think that even if it
Mark
was a
it
way
down.
that
That's a
I
lock.
think that even if it was a way, they still would win that game because I think that Mike Leach really has a fantastic program and season going this year. They have a very good quarterback, and last year they were a decent team. They were like 14, 15 in the nation. Now they are the only Pac-12 team left that could make into the cultural playoff. They have one that
Lock, Washington State.
nice handwriting. And anyway, obviously they have one bad loss against USC. That's not a great look for their
Well,
program.
no, they only lost by 3, so it wasn't bad.
I mean, yeah, but like USC's an average team. You'd rather lose to a team
Yeah,
like
but, like,
Stanford or Oregon. But anyway,
yeah.
like obviously Cal is not the best team, but they do have crazy wins like most Pac-12 teams do this season. Because like it seems like every Pac-12 team loses to a bad team and then has a crazy upset win. So that was, I guess, Cal's upset win of the season was beating Washington. To me, it'd be ridiculous if Cal goes back to back and beats Washington and Washington State, and they won against Washington in Seattle, by the way. So it'd be crazy if they do a road trip to Washington and beat both teams who are ranked away.
That'd be crazy.
That to me would be like, wow, this team or this Cal team actually has some kind of talent that shouldn't be slept on. But I think that Washington State is going to see that red flag of, hey, like we hate Washington, but they were a good team and they just lost to an unranked Cal and they couldn't even put up more than 10 points. We got to be careful about this team. We got to look at them closer and see what they did wrong that we could expose them this week. I think that Washington State, especially with Mike Leach, the head coach, who is a fantastic, brilliant head coach, I would be shocked if Cal gets the best in this week. I would pick Washington State because, again, like they know they could easily find a way into the playoff if teams ahead of them have bad losses and they keep winning. So it's what's at stake plus what they saw last week against Washington. I can't imagine Cal pulling off the upset, but definitely watch the game in case they do, because if they do, it's going to be just devastating for the Pac-12, clearly.
Yeah.
It's going to be mind-blowing to see a Cal team who we thought was terrible, who still is kind of terrible, going into the state of Washington and taking out their entire chances of any team from that part of the Northwest going to the playoff. It would to me be just a complete blockbuster move by Cal football to go in and just destroy
No, it
the
would be a
Pac-12's
Cal
open
move
dreams.
too.
It would be a Cal move for sure. It'd be that kind of like Aaron Rodgers back in Cal, Marshawn Lynch back in Cal kind of move thing of like, we're just going to go in and we're going to ruin everyone's hopes and dreams of anything successful. And that's what it'd be for me as a Pac-12 fan. It'd be like, wow, it's going to be another SEC team that's going to get it instead of us. So, but I'm sorry to
Yeah, I
ramble
would
for
think
so
so.
long. There's just so much must-watch football this week that I got excited and talked for way too long. I apologize to everyone watching. I apologize to Dominic. I just got too excited. Maybe it was a TruEnergy. Maybe this stuff got me wired, and I just kept
Yeah, I
talking.
think
It could
that
be
thing
that
got you
too.
wired because throughout the episode, you kept getting up there.
Yeah, sure, it's a good point. Might have been a little fidgety too. We never know. It's definitely not as bad as like pre-workout where I'm like scratching my forehead, but you know, it might have
Killed
kicked
the
in.
person off pre-workout.
Anyway, the last thing I want to mention, this wasn't part of our script. I want to talk about it. throughout the college football season, I've been saying this since week 3, we could have a year where we see 3 SEC
It's
teams
not
in
gonna
the playoff.
happen.
It still is possible. The pieces are still lining up for it to happen. And
I can
here's how
name.
it could happen. Here's how it could happen. The Pac 12, that was weird. The Big 12 and the Pac 12 are hanging on by a thread, and those threads are Oklahoma and Washington State. A loss to Cal and a loss to Texas Tech, both those conferences out of the question. It's clear now that the ACC, even though the committee, favors the ACC conference and the rankings, there's no team outside of Clemson in the ACC who could even think about getting into the college football playoff besides Clemson. So that conference is locked down. And it's just Clemson.
Actually,
Who else in the ACC can make it? Don't say Boston College. Oh, I will
I'm
really come to your house.
I'm being serious. I'm being serious. Boston College could make it in. If they beat Clemson, their schedule is easy. If they beat Clemson, they could end up 10-2.
Dominic.
Perfect position to make it in.
Dominic, I'm not. There's so many better teams ahead of them. Stop talking.
But you're
Dominic,
telling me if they
no,
beat Clemson, they can't get in.
There's 21 teams between them and being like a top.
But if they beat Clemson, they jump up to top 10 at least.
Dominic, I'm not answering this question for you. There's no way Boston College is getting in there, and your bias is worse than my bias against Colorado. Just stop talking. Just stop.
Eric,
I'm trying to explain how this is going to happen, Dominic. Please stop interrupting. Anyway,
all right. I'll have to shoot it down afterwards.
Anyway, like I said, the Big 12 and the Pac-12 hang on by a thread. Those two threads, Washington State and Oklahoma. If they both lose this week, or if they lose any time between now and the end of the season, they're done. Michigan, I believe, will lose to Ohio State. Ohio State's they're done. They're pretty much out there. Kentucky will lose to Georgia this week. They are done. Ohio State is kind of too far out. Same with Florida to make it in there. UCF, I'm not even going to start UCF. There's no way they'll be a playoff team. So pretty much what's only left is Georgia, LSU, Notre Dame, Clemson, Alabama. Even if Bama loses this week to LSU, even if they do lose to them, they're still the playoff contention. They'll still get in because Bama always finds a way in because they are just the biggest brand of college football. You can't have college football playoff TV without Bama on there because they will lose money if they do that. So they're always going to have Bama in there unless Bama loses to Citadel, in which case then you can't put them in there because there's no way you can justify that. Bama's going to be a lock. I don't think
there's any way they lose to Citadel unless everyone on that team gets hurt.
They're definitely not going to, but that'd be the only way you could be like, you can't put them in there. Because even if they lose to Auburn, if they
lose to Auburn and don't make it to the SEC championship,
they'll still get in. There's no way you will have a Bama-less playoff unless they lose to a team so bad.
Because they're so biased towards it. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm trying to finish this take, Dominic.
Sorry.
Bama's a lock.
I'm trying to shoot it down.
Clemson's a lock. Okay? You have 2 teams that are locked. It leaves 2 spots open, 3 teams left to get in. Those teams are LSU, Georgia, and Notre Dame. Notre Dame is 1 loss away from being taken out of contention.
There's many other teams that can get in.
I just told you what teams could not get in because of things that will happen. I said Ohio State most likely will not get in. Washington State, if they lose, they're done. Oklahoma, if they lose, they're done. Michigan will lose to Ohio State. I guarantee it. They're done. Florida, not going to get in. UCF, not going to get in. Anyone else besides that, they're too far out to even think about getting in. That leaves Notre Dame, LSU, Georgia. Notre Dame, in my opinion, is going to lose. They are going to have that 1 loss this season. They will be out of contention because that loss. Because the teams they're playing for the last stretch of the season are not very good. It's Syracuse, Florida State, Northwestern, and it's USC for the last game of the season. If you lose to any of those teams, done because they're not good teams. Syracuse is decent, but they have to be a better team, like a top 12 team for it to count as, that's a good loss. It won't be a good loss for them. They'll be done. That leaves Georgia and LSU. That will get in, leaving it to be Alabama, LSU, Georgia, 3 SEC teams, and Clemson as the ACC team making the 4th spot. It could definitely happen. The pieces are lining up. It's definitely probable. It's statistically, I'm not sure where it would be statistically wise, what the chances are, but it's looking at least possible. And I'm not going to drop it until a team like Georgia or a team like LSU suffers terrible losses. But go ahead.
You're saying teams that are too far out because they're ranked at 15 right now can't make it?
I'm saying that the teams I see right now at 15.
The first year these rankings ever dropped, Ohio State was at 15. You know what happened?
Okay, I get it.
They won the championship.
Okay, Dominic, okay, cool. Anyway, West Virginia, they're not going to get in. I don't see it happening. I don't see Kentucky getting in. I don't see Florida getting in. I don't see Penn State, Texas, Utah. I don't see Houston getting in. I don't see Iowa. I don't see UCF getting in. They could, first of all, move to a real conference. Move to real conference, play real teams instead of Temple or whatever you're playing this
You're
week.
just upset because they can get wins, unlike Colorado. But
If I played against, like, South Florida, I would get a win, too. It doesn't matter. If I played against, like, Cincinnati or, like, I don't even know, like, I don't even know what other teams that conference. Like, Tulane is in the AC or whatever. If I played against joke schools that don't actually care about sports, care about academics, like Tulane, yeah, I would actually win, like, football games, too. It's just, like, move to real conference. Move to real conference. If you're that good, you haven't lost a game in a year and a half, play real teams and see what happens. I'm guessing if you played against, like, Arizona State, if you played against, like, Stanford or any decent team in the Pac-12 or even in the Mountain West, they would have at least one loss by now. But they're playing these joke programs that half care, half don't care. So it's like, congrats on beating high school football teams. Must feel awesome. You're not that special, though. Congrats, UCF. You made Orlando, Florida known for one other thing besides Disney World, and now it's you. Congrats. I hope you feel fantastic about that.
All right, and also you were saying,
like half real, half not real national championship. Congrats. Next year I'll claim it for Colorado because why not? Because apparently you can do that now. You don't even have to make the playoff. You can say you're national champion. You don't have to play real teams.
Yeah, but they went undefeated. You guys are like terrible.
The only thing they did impressive was win the Peach Bowl against Auburn. That's the only thing they did impressive. So if Colorado goes to bowl game this year and we win, fuck it. I'm going to say we're national champions. I'm going to have my own flag that says 2018 national champions Colorado football, and I'll keep it right here or upstairs in my room or whatever it is.
Getting off topic. Let me finish.
It's just, yeah.
You're saying Michigan's going to beat Ohio State? No, I'm sorry. Other way around. Yeah, Ohio State beats Michigan.
Can't beat Ohio State. It's to me, I look at it as
either team's going to win out, and if they win out, whichever team wins out, they're going to win the Big Ten. If you win the Big Ten and you're 11-1, you're getting in. Or Michigan, yeah.
But what about like last year where the Big Ten was the best conference in football? The best conference and not a single team went.
Yeah, because they always have to put in Alabama.
Exactly. That's what I told. No, I didn't. I told you that earlier on. I said Alabama gets in no matter what. They always get in no matter what. And SC is always favored. Last year was the year for the Big Ten to say that we are the best conference, and they were the best conference of football, and not a single team got in no matter what. No matter what. So they could easily have the same fate this year, especially with Big Ten teams losing all over the place.
Teams are going to make it.
I think it could definitely happen.
I see two
for
teams.
Sure. It's the most favored playoff conference, or the most favorite conference in the playoffs for sure. I could easily see 3 teams getting in there, and the pieces are aligning for it to happen, Dominic.
Not really.
It will happen, and I'll be like, I told you so.
There's still so many SEC games that have to be played. They're going to knock each other out.
They are not going to knock each other out.
Yes.
Georgia has to just beat Kentucky, and that's it. That's all they have to do is beat Kentucky, and then they're going to cruise on in to the playoff.
And who
Alabama,
else? LSU?
Alabama can lose to LSU.
LSU beats Alabama, then yes, maybe.
Yeah, then Alabama just wins out, and then they have one loss to LSU, who would be the second or first
Notre
best team
Dame
in the
has the easiest schedule as well, and if they go undefeated, they're not going to not
Notre
go.
Dame almost lost to Pitt. Notre Dame almost lost to Pitt. They have an easy schedule, but they don't play the same way that LSU or Clemson or Bama plays, so they could definitely lose one of those games.
Clemson might be out too.
Clemson would have to have a terrible loss.
Clemson would have to lose a game, which they probably won't.
It's not going to happen.
I'm pretty sure. No, and I'm being honest. I think Clemson's hardest game left is against BC.
I'm not gonna justify myself anymore. I think it could definitely happen for sure. And as long as the pieces fall into place, like I said, it will happen.
No, it won't.
Don't hate me when I'm right. Don't hate me when I'm
if
right.
I look up stats, which I'm not right now,
when I'm right,
because I'm too tired.
Right. I'm too tired. Anyway, I think we're gonna call the show at that. Anything else you want to add in all, or
you're wrong?
Whatever. You'll find out when I'm right. Anything else you want to add though?
BC beats Clemson.
Cool. Anyway,
next week.
Drink TruEnergy. Drink TruEnergy. TruEnergy.com or go to TailgateSportsEntertainment.com and you can get your own yourself. I highly suggest and I guarantee you will like it. I highly suggest you get some for yourself because I'm going to finish the rest of this and enjoy the whole thing because I thought it actually was fantastic. A lot better than I thought it was going to taste. Try it for yourself. You won't regret it. I assure that. Dominic, have fun at the game next week. Well, we'll definitely do the show before then. Hopefully we can get some footage of yourself at the game itself. Maybe if I can find a ticket, I can go there and just hate on BC and go full on Clemson because BC sucks. But anyway, regardless, have fun with the game. It should be awesome. We'll be back next week.
Yeah, we're going to record next week before the game anyway.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. We'll be back next week, another episode for Sure the Tailgate because it's now prime college football season and I'm very hyped. It's November 3rd. It's crazy. It's the year's flying by. But anyway, that was the Tailgate brought to you by Tailgate Sports, a product or brought to you by Tailgate TV, sorry, our product Tailgate Sports. Also brought to you by TruEnergy, drinktranger.com. And that's Tailgate.